Welcome to this TriCaster Quick Start for vMix users training course. I'm Kane Peterson. I want to help you get familiar with TriCaster. To achieve this, I prepared a series of videos that cover different workflows. In each video, we'll start by presenting the functionality in vMix, then we'll explore how to perform similar tasks in TriCaster and highlight any features that can enhance a particular workflow. When you finish these videos, you may want deeper insights into TriCaster. Visit Viz University for extensive courses covering TriCaster operation through both the computer interface and hardware control surface. We'll begin this first video by showing how to set up a session, followed by an overview of the user interface layout. In these videos, the interface shown will be from a TriCaster Mini S and TriCaster Mini 4K systems. Both have identical features, and the information provided will generally apply to most TriCaster models. So here in the vMix software, to create a new session, that is done by clicking the New button, and then we can choose our session video resolution and our session frame rate. Once we have our session prepared, we can see that there are some buttons at the top of the screen for creating sessions and saving sessions, also accessing our settings. We have our preview window and output window, along with our transition controls in the middle. Below that are where we set up our inputs. We can also access the audio mixer. And at the very bottom, there are buttons for adding inputs and controlling functions like streaming and recording and other functionality found inside vMix. Here we are on my TriCaster, and we are looking at what is called the home screen. When you start up your TriCaster system, this is the first screen that will come up. And this allows us to select which session or create sessions that we want to work on. Typically in the TriCaster, for each production or job you would work on, you would create a session, and each session keeps its own settings separate from other sessions on the system. Now looking at the screen, we can see some buttons on the left. This allows us to go to the different options available, and this will change what you see on the right. Let's go to Create New Session, and then up here we can give the session a name. We'll call ours Quick Start. We can choose which drive letter we want our session created on. Let's leave the template on empty session for now. And then below, we can choose our video standard and video format. So we can choose whether we're working NTSC or PAL and what video format we want our session created in. This will not determine what the video coming in is. You can work with any kind of video coming in, but it will all be turned into this format for output. Another option available is the orientation, and here we can choose landscape. This would be your typical widescreen video. If you were working with a vertical video project, you could choose portrait, and square is another option, but I'll leave mine on landscape. And at the bottom, you can see what all of your settings put together will equate to. And when you're ready to start this production, click on the Start Live Production button. This will then open up what is called the live desktop. The live desktop is the primary interface in which you operate the TriCaster. So here is the live desktop interface, and just to get an idea of what we're looking at the top are some menus. If you wanted to exit out and maybe open a different session, that can be done from the File menu. Just be aware that the menus appear when you put your pointer over this upper left area. Then on the right area at the top, we've got some buttons and gears, and we'll look at some of these later in the course. Below that, we have a multi-view area, and this shows us different video sources coming in or out of our system. Now, we've not configured anything yet, so there's nothing to see, but we'll be doing that in the next video. Then we have the switcher panel. This is an on-screen representation of a hardware control surface. So we have our preview and program buses, virtual T-bar, the ability to choose transitions, our downstream keys. And then at the very bottom of the interface, there are some buttons on the lower left and lower right. And if you click on any one of these buttons, the interface will spring open and show you these tools. So the different tools we have are media players. This is the DDR, graphics, and sound buttons we see on the left and on the right side. Media players are where you'll load clip-based content like video clips, stills, images, titles, audio files that you want to play. There's also one called buffers, which is another way to load content. We have our audio mixer, and we also have our teleprompter tool. So another thing to be aware of when you're looking at these tabs at the bottom of the interface is that if you click on a tab that's already active, this will collapse back down. It doesn't turn these tools off, it just hides them and shows you more of a multi-view area. So you can operate the system this way if you'd like, but most TriCaster users like to have this bottom area open all the time. That's how I'm going to leave it for the rest of these videos. And then you can just click between the different tabs to go to whatever tool you would like to operate with.